Well, hello and welcome everyone. It's great to finally be back up on stage and to be with all of you. My name is Anya Chrisanthon, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about smart kitchen and how we can deliver that experience to our customers. Now, when I used to sell new construction, when my customers would walk through the door, I would always bypass the sales center and I would just take them directly into the kitchen. I would offer them a beverage, get them comfortable, and then begin my discovery process, because in the kitchen, you gather together with friends and family. And if you think about kitchen is really the heart of your home. And kitchens have come a far, far way from the original kitchen, right? That wall-separating mom cooking in the kitchen by herself and everyone else is in a living room. To now, we have that great open concept, kitchen, living room, it's together, we're all hanging out in one space together. Now, over the pandemic, I've spent many nights in my kitchen with Zoom, cooking with wine, with my friends and family. More wine than cooking, but that's another story. But that's the direction our kitchens are going. Our appliances in the kitchen are becoming the smartest appliances in the home from what they originally were. So today, joining me is a panel of experts who are going to talk to you about some of these innovations in the kitchen and really how we can bring that experience to our customers. So I'm really excited to introduce my panel. First, we have Erica Bovard. Erica is Director of Marketing with GE Appliances. Melissa Morman is Chief Experience Officer with VDX. And we have Shawn Stover, who is VP of Smart Home Solutions with GE Appliances. Well, I personally think that moms were the original smart kitchen innovators. If you look back 50 years ago, when we had those tiny little TVs with the antenna in the kitchen, right? Every single kitchen had one of those. But smart kitchens have certainly come a long way from that. So Shawn, why don't you kick things off for us and take us through a journey and tell us what's available now in a smart kitchen. What does it mean to have a smart kitchen in your home?
Okay, great, no problem. A lot of times when people talk about smart appliances or a smart kitchen, we talk about those things that we see in our home, the doorbells, the cameras, the lights, all of those things that we traditionally equate to a smart home. We kind of took a step back and we said, well, smart means more to that than that to us at GE Appliances. And we really looked at what it meant to our business, what it meant to our customers, what it meant to the products that we were delivering, and we created Smart HQ Solutions. And Smart HQ Solutions really spans distribution all the way to the end of life through service. And those four pillars really make up this interconnected system inside of GE Appliances, how we develop, design, manufacture, and distribute those products. How do you manage not only one, but an entire fleet of appliances? How do you manage the ones that are in your home? And then ultimately, when something does happen, how do you manage that service event? How do you take care of that customer after day one, when it's day 4,563? What does it mean at that point? And so it really created this digital thread that ran through our business and connected us to our customers and to our consumers and our owners. But when I look at appliances and the products that we bring, what we really believed was, what does this mean to a consumer? Because I get asked the question, why would I buy a smart appliance? And my answer is well, why not, right? Do you want to spend that kind of money on something that stays exactly the same as it was the day that you bought it? Or do you want something that gets better over time, or at least has the opportunity to get better over time? We believe the latter is the way to go. And so we created an entire fleet of appliances, from refrigerators to ranges to dishwashers, water heaters, dehumidifiers, vent hoods, across the gambit. We have offerings that are in all of those places. And we also built it on top of an open platform. So we partner with people like Alexa and Google and Sonos and many, many others that are out there that have that same kind of mentality and same kind of thought leadership in this space and want to really push this envelope. So we have a system that works with a lot of those because we believe choice is extremely important to not only you, but also to your consumers. Benefits that come along with that, cooking is one of our great examples. Whether it's preheating the wall oven from your phone, whether it's a recipe integration that you're going along with, whether it's precision cook, where it's a one-button press and it's roasting those vegetables for you, to a full guided cooking experience, to our in-oven camera experience, which is our brand new one that we've got out there now. To convenience with things like replenishment, dishwasher tabs, laundry detergent, coffee pods, right? We all have so much going on and so much on our plates. The last thing we need to do is have to think about some of those things. So can we take those things off the plate for consumers? Notifications are another one. Lots of times laundry's on the second floor. You're out enjoying a glass of wine with your family or friends on a back deck, right, listening to some music. Well, that notification can let you know that laundry's going on. And through those integrations, you can just talk back to that speaker and say, just continue tumbling while I finish my glass of wine. Small things, but things that don't take away from the enjoyment that we want to spend our time on. That service moment, right? We all know what happens. We don't want it to happen. We do the best jobs that we can to try and make sure that we develop products that never break, but ultimately they're mechanical, they're going to break. But what happens in that moment is important. Can you get it right the first time? Can you fix it right the first time? How we deliver that experience, how before that service tech even thinks about pulling that 400-pound refrigerator across the wood floor by the granite countertops and the wood cabinetry, how we can figure out what they need to fix before they even do that. And then the last thing that we've got is upgradability. We just launched an over-the-air update not too long ago, back in April, to over 200,000 of people that already bought our appliances before. They were in their home, they were connected, and we gave them new features with air fry that they never had before. We've given them new interactions on their displays that they've never had before. Things that appliances have never seen before, we're bringing that promise and we're delivering that promise through the connected appliances that we deliver every day. Because what you're delivering to a consumer is not only a great product, but it's also a system. And it's a system that takes that kitchen and that home and really pushes it into the future. It goes from that appliance that lasts 10 to 12 years and stays exactly the same into something that gets new technology all the time. We live with it every day. Your phone does it all the time. It takes an appliance and really moves it to a smart ecosystem, well beyond just that product that gets hot, cold, or wet. It brings in other partners. It brings in other people that are out there that are driving that technology in their direction, in our direction, and in all kinds of other directions to bring out all kinds of opportunities. And then again, in that service moment, it takes it a step further. It really allows us to be able to do something new and different from a consumer. And hopefully, we don't even have to go. Hopefully, we can just send them an over-the-air update and give them a new software packet that fixes the problem that they're looking for. And we never have to take the time to send out a technician. They never have to take off work and disrupt their lives, and it just happens seamlessly for them. So we believe it does have a lot of benefits, but for not only our owners that own our product, for your consumers that buy your products, but also for you as your business.
All right, well, an oven that can cook a turkey perfectly without me stepping a foot in the kitchen, that sounds like a great idea to me. I don't know about you. Well, Erica, can you talk to us a little bit about how do we actually tell the story of Connected Kitchen to our customers?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you think about the definition of experiential marketing, it's allowing people to experience a brand through more than one of the senses. So, hearing, touching, feeling, seeing, smelling. And if you interact with a company's product or service, say you're smelling a perfume at a store, or back when we used to be able to go to Costco and do the sampling on the weekend and have a little lunch, you are able to really understand that product in a more meaningful way, and you are more likely to buy it. And it's really important when you think about standing out and creating an experience with your potential home buyer, in often a way that a 2D experience really can't do that. So when you think about that at G Appliances and your home buyer journey, your sales team or your designers are not always experts in the appliance and know all the nitty-gritty details. So you need to think about how do you amp that up and amp that experience up where it can do a really amazing show and tell. So here's an example from GE Appliances. We're leaning into our GE Profile brand. You've seen that it's our most innovative brand in our portfolio. It has the latest and greatest technology and features. But this is a standard kiosk that we have. The experience, we've talked and thought about all the details. So how we would deliver it to your design center or your selection studio, and thinking about all the details, including Wi-Fi, how it's embedded within the system so that you don't have to connect it to your local Wi-Fi. And for those that have a different aesthetic, maybe you have a different look or feel for your selection studio, we can also look at a custom example as well. We've got project managers and designers on staff that can help you create that environment with your materials, your kitchen look, and help you project manage that. But I want to call attention to analytics. When we think about experiential marketing, we need to think about how those decisions can drive impact. So instead of it being passive, how do we make it active? So let's take the scenario that you're in a design center, you have a custom kitchen. The camera that's located on the hub at the top, and then there's also one that faces down on the range, also acts as an opportunity to capture information. So think about the experience where your home buyer is walking by, you can collect, if people are walking by, so we call it opportunity to see. Are they even making eye contact with the kiosk or the kitchen display in any way? If they are, then we'll take a look at it from a watcher standpoint. What are they looking at? What are they interacting with? How many people looked at it? What are they touching and feeling? And then we look at dwell time. How long are they spending time with it? So you can have multiple locations where you can compare and contrast this data as well. And then think about it in your model home. So taking the kitchen hub and putting that into your model home, now you have an active experience where you can see who's walking by my kitchen, what are they interacting with in here through those camera movements. So taking it and making it much more of an active experience and being able to make decisions with that kitchen hub. And then before I close my section, we often think about the homebuyer journey completely. So it doesn't stop when you just you've sold the appliances and then you're done. When we think about the whole experience, what we call at G Appliances, the ownership experience, and you do that new home orientation, there's a lot of stuff to remember, right? Basically, the homeowner really needs to know, how do I turn my lights on and how do I lock my door, right? That first day, there's just a lot of information. They don't need to know all the bells and whistles for the appliances until they actually need to know that information. So when we think about that, you've got your stack of all the warranty documents and information that you may or may not look at. We've made it really easy for you, the builder, and then also the home buyer to do a lot of things with the simple QR code. We've seen that experience can help reduce call times to your call centers because the simple statement that you can make at the new home orientation is, when you're ready to use your appliance, just scan the QR code. If you need the warranty information, scan the QR code. So trying to think about how do we make it, again, easier for you, the builder, and also the home buyer to have a really seamless ownership experience.
Well, there's a QR code for that, right? Now, Melissa, why don't you take us through and talk to us a little bit more about how do we actually use these assets to get more customers?
Absolutely. All right, so originally I was asked to talk about how best to market, but the world has really shifted. So we're gonna talk about that a little bit. So I kind of X'd out marketing and said, we're like actually selling, right? So we are not lacking in amazing products. The builders have amazing floor plans. The manufacturers have amazing products. I mean, new homes are the way to go. And we are unabashedly biased to new homes in the industry. We think new homes are the way to go. But to have all the latest and greatest, you need to buy a new home. And we're certainly not lacking in demand in our industry. It has been like totally heady. It looks like maybe it's waning just a little bit in terms of our research and studies and shoppers that we see, but still super healthy demand. So when you look at problems in an industry, those are not our problems. We have amazing products, we have people who want them, and it's really about how do we cost effectively engage them, inform them, delight them, and really sell in a digital first world. The world has really, really become digital. And how do we actually tap into that? The new study came out in 2020, into 2020, Redfin said 63% of people made offers on homes without ever seeing them. And for some of us, we find that really foreign, but think about how you buy cars today. Think about what's available in terms of new home content and all the information that's available. I can see a Matterport, I can do a VR tour, I can see all the images, I can see the reviews. If I'm a millennial, I don't know how to fix a house anyway, so I'm assuming it's, good quality. So the world has really shifted, and we have to make sure that we're shifting with it. And when you look across the customer journey, and we study this quite intentfully, but guess what? That journey is not nice and tidy at all. Consumers come in, they go out, they're kind of interested, they poke around, they fall over here, maybe they go buy a used home and they're not available again for 5 years. It's a really emotional and very unpredictable journey. So that makes it really challenging from a marketing perspective to handle this omni-channel, where's the customer, where's the journey, where are they intersecting, where should I put my amazing displays, where should I put my VR tours, at what point should they do that? And the answer is, you've got to put it just about everywhere. You have to create amazing, killer, engaging content. You have to make sure it's available at every touch point, online and physical retail. So it's really challenging. And guess what? Spoiler alert. If you don't have an amazing online experience, they're not going to come in and see the amazing content that Erica's created for you. They're not going to come to your design center. They're not going to come to your sales center. You'll never even know they existed. So you've got to get it right online in order to earn that appointment and get that physical appointment. But that's what you're trying to do. As they're browsing out there and they're bombarded with all of this content, you want them to say, yeah, I want to connect with you. Now, whether they connect with you virtually or they come in person, however they do that, and by the way, they could do both, and they could do it both over multiple years, and it's a crazy experience as we talked about. But you're trying to get them to swipe right and not swipe left, because then you really will never see them. I just want to share with you the different ways builders and product manufacturers are connecting with consumers in a digital way. So this is just a smattering of different examples. And the first thing that we're seeing is manufacturers are jumping in with the builders. So where the builders are marketing and selling their products, the manufacturers are jumping in, which is exactly what Erica talked about. She's trying to give you that perfect sales pitch, trying to give you that perfect content. So when that consumer is there, you're not abandoned all by yourself and trying to explain this, because it used to be refrigerators were really simple. It's like, would you like the silver one or would you like the white one? And they've got water. Now, when you look at the multitude of features, it's amazing, but it can be overwhelming as well. So GE has done a really good job of helping you, but the manufacturer jumping in because they want to be there when that first touch point happens. Even the simplest content tells a story. So this is a very inexpensive, just image cutaway where you can give give a consumer an interactive piece of content, and they can click on that and learn about manufacturers, learn about features, learn about products. And what do we know about interactive content? It gets me to engage, it gets dwell time, they're dwelling on your product, and that's exactly what you want. So as we move up the ladder a little bit, again, very simple, inexpensive product, Matterports. You can embed content in these pieces. So every builder has a Matterport of their spec home, a Matterport of their model home, and there are amazing products and features in those homes. Why not tell the story? So you can embed that content. And again, as a consumer, I'm going through unassisted. Virtual reality, super, super hot. So if you've not tried virtual reality, if you have not dipped your toe in the water, you really need to get with the program. It has all kinds of ways that you can leverage. And with this particular piece, it's really showing the mood scene. So it's showing how this room transformed from just kind of a normal room and day to, oh my gosh, it's movie night. And you can highlight all of those technical products because, again, you're trying to create emotional appeal. You're not trying to just list features and specs and here's a floor plan and this room can also be a media room. You're trying to convey the emotional experience that comes with it. And what you're really trying to do is embed that content. So when I'm first looking at Toll Brothers online, I want to see what are the products and options. And by the way, one of the biggest friction points for someone to drop out of the new home buying process is they can't figure out how much it costs and they can't figure out what's included, right? Big challenge. So as you saw in this, I'm going through the house on my own, then I can pop onto videos that really highlight amazing content. So it doesn't just look like a box, here's some amazing information about the products that come with this home. So it's an opportunity where builders are creating this content anyway, and manufacturers can embed that content so you're there at the point of sale and you're kind of helping with that dialogue, because it allows me on my own time to study the options, study the products. I'm not being sold, I'm really selling myself. And I don't complain that I had $50,000 in upgrades. I just know I selected them, and I'm really excited because I just designed my house, and that's how much it's gonna cost. Some of this is about selection, some of it is about psychology. The more time I spend on your floor plan, your kitchen, designing my home, the more likely I am to buy. Consumers are willing to spend this kind of time, they're hungry for this. If you don't give them these kinds of tools and this immersive experience, they're gonna go elsewhere, because they've become accustomed to it. I can design my tennis shoes online, why can't I design my house online? You know, it's really that ridiculous. So builders are just doing some amazing things. And then the other thing I would just say, what we're seeing with a lot of builders now is, you know, they've been working on their content over time, and they have these individual content pieces, an interactive site plan, they have an IFP, they can, you know, play with the floor plan, they have Envision maybe where they have options, but they're kind of standalone pieces. So now we've come out with Dreamweaver, which allows you to stitch those products together in a single sign-on method for consumers on the website. So this happens to be TriPoint, and you can literally come in, pick your lot, pick your plan, design and envision, pick your options, and guess what? At that point, you're ready to go. You are ready for a proposal. And builders are trying to move consumers closer to that point of sale. I doubt we're gonna get to the point where you actually sign a home contract online, although never say never. But if you can get someone to make a deposit on a lot for 24 hours, psychologically they're committed. If you can get them to kind of configure and design their whole home, and they have kind of their dashboard and you get their dashboard of what they want, they're that much closer to sales. So these are the exciting things that I think we're doing in the industry to help consumers, and we're really giving them what they've actually been begging us for a very long time. And I think the key here is there's no one right solution or mix of solutions, but it is about thinking about that customer's experience and making sure you've got something for them. And what's the first thing they do when they come in the model home or sales center? What do they typically say when you say, hey, can I help you?
No, thanks. Just looking.
Just looking, the hand goes up, just looking. Okay, you're in a sales center, like you're not in McDonald's, you're not in like Ann Taylor clothing, but they don't want to be pounced on. But you have to give them something to do. So let them explore, let them, you know, find that information themselves, and then you can come over and help them, and you can do all kinds of hosted tours. So again, no one right answer. You just got to think about what's that story and how can you convey it. And the last thing I want to touch on, and it's something Erica touched upon as well, is just the really importance of data. So there is data everywhere. We've got Google Analytics coming out the wazoo, really important. Through Envision now, we have all kinds of analytics to let us know who's been there, where are they shopping from. It lets us know what did they view, what did they upgrade, what did they select. Super, super important, rich, valuable data. And then for the manufacturers, and I've just seen the manufacturers go crazy because I think sometimes they are more accustomed to dealing with data. It's just kind of in their DNA. And he's an engineer, I found out, so you know he's a data geek. But what's really cool is through Envision, you can now see take rates, you can see it across builders, you can see what did they offer, what percentage of the time did it get upgrade, what's the price elasticity, because sometimes we just overprice. We don't have a science around pricing. So manufacturers are using this data to really help educate their builders because we all want more upgrades. That's important. So there's just tons of data. And so everything that you do today from a digital perspective, there is data, and there's data that you can mine. All right, so some key takeaways. So I try to kind of summarize this, from the perspective. And I think the one big thing is there is a digital experience. There is an online and digital experience, whether you're embracing it or not. Because if they go online and all you have is a black and white rendering, that's a digital experience. It's just not a very good one, and they're going to swipe left. So you really have to think about you're in this game, whether you have decided you want to or not. So I thought I would start with builders. And one is just really understand consumers are expecting, and I should say demanding, transparency and information. We can't hoard it. They don't understand that sometimes we're not really trying to hide it. It's just really hard because we have so many options and we have so much data. You've got to work through that. Customers are really demanding it today. You got to digitally assess yourself, and you don't be afraid to ask for help, but the best way to go forward is to know where you are and really get an assessment, map your journey. You can't do everything at once. The worst thing that you can do is wait for perfection, and I can't tell you how many builders will sit down and will map their digital strategy, and they're like, yeah, someday, but you just got to start. You're not going to get it perfect out of the gate. And guess what? Whatever you do today, you're probably going to scrap in 6 months and start over because technology changes and or you learn more about your customers and your business. So you can't be afraid of that. I can't stress ingredient branding enough. The products in the home are really what make the home special. And it is the land and it is the floor plans, but those products can really make a huge difference. And your product manufacturers have gone to so much trouble. We have so much amazing content that we just have to leverage in the industry. And then last, manage with data, experiment, rinse and repeat. Because you'll be back here next year and there'll be something new that you're supposed to be doing. So you better do the stuff today, otherwise you're going to really be behind by the time you get to next year. Manufacturers, the selling process is happening out there every day, and you've got to make sure you're there. And I think that's why companies like GE, they're trying to make sure they're there to support you. They're trying to make sure they help you tell that story to consumers. So now all the manufacturers are doing it, so there's a message there as well. Builders have upped the game on their content, so virtual reality tours and all kinds of digital assets. Now we've got to get that manufacturer content in there. And in some cases, manufacturers have funded some of that, and in some cases, builders just really welcome it because it helps tell that story. Don't count on just the physical experience. It's awesome if you get them in there, but you may not get them in there. So make sure that digital experience is first foot forward. And it's not that you didn't get the deal, they just may never come to the physical experience. So, you wanna be, if they're at 63% are buying without coming in, you wanna make sure you're in that 63% and your product's in there. And be visit worthy. So if they're gonna show up, make sure we've got amazing materials to help support the builders through that sale. And then the same thing on the manufacturer side. Experiment, manage with data, and just rinse and repeat. It's a digital world, things are moving quickly, but it's kind of exciting. And especially I think for some of the smaller builders, perhaps with smaller budgets, technology is really affordable. It used to not be in everybody's grasp, and it actually is in everybody's grasp today. And just remember the goal. Swipe right. That's it.
Great. Thank you so much, Melissa. That was a great wrap up. What I love about smart connected kitchen and smart connected home as a whole is that it does give us so much content. As a formal salesperson myself, I know we're always struggling with content with follow-up or prospecting. We're always looking for, what do I say to them beyond, are you still interested? Well, now we have so much more to say. And Melissa, to your point, it's not just, is it the white fridge or is it the black fridge? Now you can give them so much content that's really going to differentiate you from your competitor and from that used home. I would like to thank everyone for being here today. I really enjoyed this session. I personally learned a lot. I'd like to personally thank GE Appliances for sponsoring this session. Thank you again, and we'll see you all very soon.